The way we deal with sexual violence perpetrators really does have an effect on prevention of sexual violence and how it impacts victims.
Every single person that's living under this bridge committed a sexually deviant act on a child. And I'm as much an advocate, or was as much an advocate and an architect of the 2,500-foot restriction as a number of you guys I know are aware.
Right.
I don't believe any of you in those charged areas should ever be allowed to loiter.
Absolutely, I agree.
Residence restrictions sound good in theory, keep sex offenders away from places where children play. But in reality, they create a lot more problems than they solve, because we know from decades of criminal justice research that homelessness, transience, unemployment, instability, a lack of social support, these are the kinds of factors that increase criminal recidivism.
I'm very sorry to hear about you guys' own personal issue, but would residence restrictions above zero, whether it's 1,000, 2,500 feet, would it have affected the personal story?
I know that by keeping predators and offenders from living within 2,500 feet of where those children congregate, where they go to school, where they go to their daycare centers, I know that creates a safer environment, and the public knows that as well.
There really isn't any research supporting the idea that increasing buffer zones beyond the state law of 1,000 feet will really have any public safety benefit. Most sexually abused children are molested by friends and family members and people who are close to the family, who use their positions of familiarity and trust and authority to gain access and opportunity to sexually abused children.
I'm a parent who went through more sleepless nights than a parent should ever have to endure.
That was to touch someone in my family. I would be also advocating no different than Mr. Book, who's had a personal incident happen with his daughter in his life. I understand their positions totally.
Look at his license.
Even the people who represent us don't have a full knowledge yet, have to go to the legal material interpretations of these laws to know how it's implemented and how to go about them, because of so many changes.
I will tell you right now, the only thing the legislature is going to look at is not sort of the comfort level of people under the bridge or whether it is embarrassing. The only question is security in neighborhoods. It may be a low percentage, but it's not a low percentage to a neighborhood that has simply one.
Clustering is a direct result of the fact that cities have passed these ordinances, most of them at 2,500 feet, and they're just having a lot of trouble finding some place to live, which is why they end up clustering in certain areas or homeless or transient.
The pain and the agony of those victims need to be the faces that people also consider when looking at the faces of the people under this bridge.
Before, I understood that it was, I believe, 25 years that I would be designated as a sex offender. I'm still yet to educate myself and find out how it affects me personally, whether if my requirement for to register is a lifetime requirement. I couldn't possibly answer that accurately right now.
Anyone who talks about or questions whether or not it's humane to force people into homelessness is automatically thought of as being unconcerned about children. And this is not about sympathy for sex offenders. This is about trying to do not only what's right, but what's in the best interest of public safety.